All right. Good evening, Sigma Chi brothers, sweethearts, and welcome to the latest signature series event titled Beacons of Courage, brought to you by the Sigma Chi Learning Consortium. My name is Cameron Darville, and I am the brother of the Alpha Zeta chapter, current philanthropy chair, and a current member of our engagement intern. Just as we illuminate the stories of hope and resilience and compassion that define the Huntsman Cancer Foundation and its extraordinary network of individuals dedicated to conquering cancer, tune into Beacons of Courage and be inspired by the transformative power of collaboration and dedication in the fight against cancer. I have the distinct honor of introducing our host this evening, Mason Cox. Brother Mason went to Florida Gulf Coast University, where he was initiated into the Lambda Zeta chapter in fall 2018. He studied communications with a concentration in public relations and a minor in creative writing. He graduated from Florida Gulf Coast in 2022 and began his professional career working at Florida Gulf Coast's Department of Campus Reservations, where his working title was Cohen Operations Assistant. In this role, he coordinated his student union information desk staff as well as the event staff. He primarily worked with the students, and Mason believes this role sparked his passion for working with and mentoring undergrads. During Mason's undergrad, he was his chapter's Derby Days chair and set a record for the highest fundraising Greek life philanthropy event. This experience is how he met Tom Hanratty and set him up for his future role as a development specialist on the Sigma Chi team at the Huntsman Cancer Foundation. He began this role this past March and looks forward to advancing in his role and helping chapters across the Sigma Chi reach high levels of philanthropic achievement. We are thrilled to have Brother Cox lead our conversation this evening and benefit from his extensive knowledge, leadership experience, and Sigma Chi involvement. Welcome, Mason.
Thank you, Cam, for that kind introduction. And I am pleased to be here and to also introduce our other guests for tonight's productions and share my experiences with HCF as well as talk with the rest of the guys. First off, I want to introduce Tom Hanratty, my boss. Tom went to Southern Utah University, where he majored in music education. While at SUU, he joined the Kappa Iota chapter of Sigma Chi. Tom served as consul, magister, formal chair, and philanthropy chairman. His time at SUU and in Sigma Chi has remained some of his favorite memories and have led him to his current career. Tom is the development director of Sigma Chi's campaign at the Huntsman Cancer Foundation. He's been working at HCF since 2017. Before HCF, Tom worked at Sigma Chi's headquarters on the chapter support team. He now lives in the Salt Lake City area with his wife and his 2 kids. We're also joined by Brother William Modica. William is an undergraduate student of international business and digital marketing at Fairleigh Dickinson University. He'll be graduating in December 2014 and is a part of the Iota Kappa chapter. He has served as historian, tribune, and Providence delegate. He also is currently an intern in the sports partnership/sponsorship industries. So welcome, brothers.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Thank you very much.
All right. Good to see you both. William, it looks like you're on the move. So we're excited to have you. But before we get started, I want to extend the invitation for all of our viewers. Feel free to ask us questions in the comments. We'll have a section at the end of the show where we'll take some time to answer all of those. So without further ado, we'll jump right into kind of talking about HCF and its mission. So Tom, I think this first question is definitely going to be geared to you and your long experience with HCF. What is the mission and vision of the Huntsman Cancer Foundation, and how has it evolved over the years?
You bet. So the mission and vision really hasn't changed too much. We are the fundraising entity for the Huntsman Cancer Institute. So our whole purpose, goal, mission, whatever you want to call it, is to help fund the life-saving care, treatment, research, wellness, everything happening at HCI. So as it has evolved, it has just expanded, both as HCI has expanded over the last 25 years. We as a foundation has also needed to expand that just to be able to fund as much as we can to keep kind of fighting that good fight.
Fantastic. We'll kind of keep rolling too. And Tom, William, feel free to jump in kind of at any point if you want to expound upon anyone's answer or kind of toss in your own little tidbits. Our next question is, how can alumni engage with their local chapters to help with Huntsman's goals? And I'll take that one. I think it's pretty simple of just being engaged with the chapter and offering your support. Um, we always encourage the alumni to, donate, support your chapter, but in a lot of ways, just being there to support the chapter as they are trying to achieve their goals and helping them leverage connections in the business world, in the local community, is almost more valuable to them than a fiscal donation. So really being involved with the chapter and helping them develop their skills is hands down one of the best ways that an alumni can be engaged and support Sigma Chi's pledge to Huntsman and support their local chapters. So this next question is specifically for William. So William, talk about the historical mark you and your chapter made. What did you do to boost the success of your chapter in your Derby Days events?
All right. Well, thank you very much for having me first off. If it gets too loud, let me know. I could run right inside. I'm very sorry about that. So basically, I'm super happy to announce that my chapter, Iota Kappa, we together raised over $20K for the first time in our school history. The closest we got was a little over 19,000, but this was definitely above 20,000, and it was super awesome for us to see that. It was super nice for the province, to see that we were doing that, and they could obviously follow some of the things we're doing as well. So I was not Derby Days chair, I was not philanthropy chair, I was Tribune. And I really, really, really wanted to get the alumni involved in some type of fundraising event somehow. And so I came up with the idea with a couple of the guys to do a golf outing. I know a lot of people do call-a-thons. A lot of people have, specific events just related to Derby and Huntsman, but I thought the golf outing would be a great idea, being that a lot of people golf. And thankfully, we were grateful to have Nick Hartzell come out from Utah to spread the message of Huntsman to a lot of alumni, a lot of new members, a lot of external people who came outside of Sigma Chi. And it was grateful enough that we raised, just in that single day, around $12,000.
That's fantastic, Will. There are definitely tons of events, and raising 12K in one day is definitely nothing to sneeze at. So congratulations for your success this year. I also want to take an opportunity. I think Tom would be upset with me if I didn't, to plug the Huntsman Retreat of Excellence for all of our schools who achieved the 20K and above club. Get a free trip out to Utah to celebrate their achievement. This year we went whitewater rafting. Some of our 100K plus schools got to go on a zip lining excursion, as well as having a Sigma Chi wide brainstorms with all of the other high achievers within the Sigma Chi Huntsman Challenge. So it was an absolutely electric time. If being the generation to end cancer isn't enough, hopefully a trip out to Utah to get to meet brothers from all over the country, engage with your international fraternity leadership, is just another perk on top of that. So we'll keep on rolling. And I think this is another great question for Tom. How does the foundation support cancer patients and their families beyond medical treatment?
Absolutely. So one thing that Huntsman Cancer Institute does really well, in particular with the new Catherine F. Kirk Center for Comprehensive Cancer Care and Women's Cancer, that's where Sigma Chi's current 20 million pledge is going towards, is to make a more holistic approach to helping both the patients and also the caregivers be as kind of comfortable and hopeful as possible during this cancer journey that they have. Of course, the hopeful part is the most crucial part, as they are able to kind of work with the top oncologists, doctors, and researchers around the world at Huntsman Cancer Institute. That's what brings them the most amount of hope. But as far as like kind of other classes, they offer some cooking classes, both at the Institute itself, as well as at some of the satellite campuses and at some of the local grocery stores in the Intermountain West, to kind of help the cancer patients and their caregivers understand to, number one, just to find healthy kind of nutritious foods to fuel them during their cancer treatments, but as well as during the recovery process. It's not something, unfortunately, is once you beat cancer, you still have to kind of rebuild your health and your strength and your wellness with that too. So they do a lot of cooking classes. There's also some physical therapy, and that includes like weight training, those types of things, but as well as acupuncture, massage therapy, those things to really help patients in particular, although those are also available for caregivers as well, and the doctors, nurses, actually everybody, to make sure that they're treating their bodies as well as possible and to not lose as little muscle as possible during such a hard time with them too. And then there's of course there's all the counseling classes, there's the therapy classes, group and individual. They have art classes, they have Tai Chi, they have all of those various things offered throughout the week. Like I said, both in person at the main hospital and center in Salt Lake City, but as well as virtually as well too. One of the positives out of the COVID pandemic was that once they did that, they had to kind of adapt to how they did a lot of their courses, as well as the interactions with patients and their families, to try to kind of mitigate the spread of COVID back then. So they've adapted and utilized some of those strategies that they implemented back then to make that just more accessible for some of our more rural and hard to reach populations. So they're doing their best, and I think they're doing a great job of do a whole picture wellness for all of the patients.
I'll jump in on that too. And kind of one of my favorite facts that I've learned since starting with the foundation is that HCI is really designed and built to be very patient and family centric. Through my own personal life, I've been in and out of hospitals with family members and friends, and I truly have never been in a hospital that's built and designed like HCF, with truly the patient in mind. One of the things we point out on tours is that you'll notice in the hallways that there are very few windows and a lot of artwork. And that's because the hospital was designed to give as much as that natural light and that beauty to the patients staying there, to kind of boost their spirits, boost their morale. And it's designed to make it feel homely and comfortable to the patient and to their family, more so than a regular hospital. And I think that's just incredible. So we'll keep rolling on, and I'll probably keep the ball in your court, Tom, if that's okay. Looking to the future, what are the goals and aspirations of the Huntsman Cancer Foundation in continuing its fight against cancer?
Absolutely. And this, I'll kind of answer one of the questions that came in at the same time from Tim from Southern California. He asked if Huntsman focuses on just one type of cancer or all types of cancers. And really, the goal in the future is just to eradicate cancer from the face of the earth in totality, not just one type of cancer. To answer Tim's question a little bit more specifically and kind of tell us where we currently are, we don't focus on any one type of cancer. It was started as the big focus of Huntsman 25 years ago was genealogical cancer research, meaning the types of genes that people have. We have, of course, grown to go well beyond that. And we have some of the leading researchers in breast cancer, prostate cancer, head and neck cancers, various types of colon cancers as well, too. So we don't focus on any one thing, and it's really just to kind of grow and collaborate with the other top centers as well. We are part of the Orion Network, which is the 14 or 15 top cancer centers in North America. We partner with them quite extensively to get to that end goal sooner. So over 80% of all of our research papers, publications, meaning like once it kind of goes through all the various trials and whatnot, once it actually gets published, over 80% of all of those publications are done in collaboration with other of the top cancer centers as well too. So we are really trying to continue that type of collaboration, just to, like I said, to eradicate cancer and have a cancer-free frontier. Absolutely.
Awesome. So this next question is for me, and I'm happy to take a stab at it. And then, Will, I'd also love to get your kind of answer to this question as well. So the question is, what was the mindset for you and your chapter that helped in setting the record for the highest fundraising Greek life philanthropy event? And I think it comes down to a very simple kind of mantra that we had was, let's just make one event better than last year. And let's just make everything kind of 1% better, following that simple rule. And so the one event that we focus with is that we did a field day, and we ended up kind of turning it into a farmer's market. And I learned all about kind of corporate sponsorships and approaching businesses and how to engage and sell the opportunity to them as well. So not only are we gaining a donation, but they're also gaining an opportunity to market their business. I fully acknowledge in my role now that a farmer's market isn't always a great option for chapters, but it worked for us. And I think that was one of the events that I was very, very proud of to put together. I think too, in terms of kind of our chapter's attitude of, I would be remiss if I didn't shout out my pledge class. So if you're watching, boys, I'm here for y'all. But we were all very, very locked in together as a team. And as a chapter as a whole, our goal was to be the best on campus and to do the best that we possibly can. Our chapter has historically kind of waxed and waned in terms of our philanthropic efforts. And that was really my goal, to break that 20K club and get to go to HRO. And it was, one of those things is we kind of hit that 20K mark. We kept striving and striving until we reached that record. And it was quite the experience for me and my chapter brothers. And I appreciate all of them who were involved and all of them who helped me. And I think that experience has led me to where I am now. So I'm very, very grateful. And then Will, kind of achieving 20K this year is a huge feat. So kind of that same question of what was your mindset and your chapter's mindset, and how did y'all go about achieving that?
Yeah, so very well said in terms of everyone needing to work hard, do 1% better, that whole type of mindset. Prior to COVID, our chapter was around 70, 80 guys. At the present day, our chapter is only 23, and it's not because of anything regarding our brotherhood or anything along the lines of that. Our school just simply became more of a commuter school. COVID kind of affected the way of life on our campus, and it kind of is what it is. But you got to do what you can with what you have and utilize everything to the best. And with 23 guys, we did more than we did with 80 in terms of efforts for Huntsman and events we wanted to do. So it's super important just to know that anything is really possible, like even doing the impossible, which we thought was raising 20K or more with the amount of guys we had. So honestly, just sticking together as a brotherhood, just spreading the awareness of Huntsman, the mission of HCI, what they do. A lot of people have the opportunity. I was grateful enough to go during HRO. Some people do not. So it's really important to bring that empowerment and kind of transpire it along to other people and spread the message that they have. And cancers affect everybody indirectly or directly. So it's super important just as a brotherhood to have fun, enjoy time with each other, but also put in these efforts through philanthropic events for HCI.
Very, very well said, William. Kind of jumping into that next question, but also tying it in with the last. What resources or support does the Huntsman Cancer Foundation provide to help undergraduate chapters achieve their goals and objectives? As I was planning my Derby days, I really wanted to have HCF involved, and that led to me reaching out to Tom here, and that's how I made that connection to Tom, and he actually came out to our event. And it was very cool as an undergrad to feel connected to HCF on a more personal level. And that was the first time I learned that HCF provides so much to chapters, and I'm so proud to be a part of the team that helps. So kind of to lock that down further, we are here for y'all. We're here to help y'all achieve your goals. And some of the ways we go about that are we do philanthropy coaching. So we'll meet with you, whether it be virtually or in some cases in person, and we'll help talk through events and how certain universities are doing their events and finding success and how we can tailor that to your campus. One of the biggest challenges that we face is that not every campus community is the same, and we fully acknowledge that. So we're very, very proud to work with chapters to nail down their campus community and what will work best for their campus community. Because to be frank, Derby Days philanthropy, it's not a one size fits all thing. And so working with them to find the right answer for their community, their chapter, their campus is one of the things that we are very, very proud to offer. We also are always happy to come out to your chapters and lead those workshops or come out to your events. We're happy to be judges for dance competitions, skit nights, whatever it may be. We've been there. And we're also happy to come and give speeches, give keynote addresses, give presentations, and kind of spread the mission of Huntsman and help give you all that personal connection to the cause. Tom, if you have anything you want to throw in there, feel free. And then kind of like William mentioned too, our coworker Nick Hartzell, he got to have a great weekend out there in New Jersey with the Fairleigh Dickinson boys playing golf. And from what I've heard, it was a great time. And we're always happy to get to meet you and your chapters and help us develop that relationship and develop y'all's skills in philanthropy. And we're going to keep rolling unless Tom has something to toss in there. But okay. Sorry about that. What are some of the unique challenges women may face with cancer, and how does the Huntsman Cancer Foundation address these challenges? So, Tom, I'm sure we'll probably jump into that too, but HCF is very, very proud that we've now opened the Catherine F. Kirk Center, which specifically focuses on women's cancer treatment and research. That center was fully paid for by Sigma Chi's pledge and all of your donations. And that was very much dedicated to the women and the sweethearts in our lives. And that is one of a great resource that HCF offers to women as they battle with cancer, and also growing the knowledge and the education to help doctors make educated decisions that affect the treatment and care of women with cancer.
Yeah, I'll add a couple extra things to that building. Because it's a state-of-the-art building, it's brand new. And not just women are treated there. There can be men, depending on what type of cancers they have. But some of the more logistical side of things, like they have a wonderful insular tubing system, so they can send in their blood work to the other side of the institute to be tested and receive results back while they're still sitting in that chair, to make it that much quicker. They really wanted to focus on the efficiency of all the cancer patients, but in particular on the Women's Center at the Catherine F. Kirk Center, on the second floor there is a beautiful, almost like a spa-like room there where women can go when they're getting tested, but also after they get their diagnosis back. There's a beautician. I don't know the actual fancier name for that, but they have beauticians there too to kind of help them be fitted for wigs in case if they lose their hair, and do those types of services for women that they sometimes, women in particular during the cancer process, they feel like they lose some of their identity because their physical appearance changes so much during the process. So they definitely have tried to address that with all those services offered there, all in that kind of one-stop center in the Women's Center.
All right, and we're in our final question before Q&A. So I encourage everyone watching, if you have any questions, feel free to put those in the comments and we will get to them here in a second. But our final question here is, what steps does the Huntsman Cancer Foundation take to ensure its research and services are inclusive and address the diverse needs of women from different backgrounds and communities? And kind of like our previous questions, I'll take a stab at it and then let Tom knock it home. But HCF and HCI are we service a very, very large geographical area and a very large percent of the population. And that is made up with a lot of rural communities where we have diagnostic and treatment buses that will go out to these rural communities and service those communities that have a harder time accessing big city healthcare and specialized healthcare. And those buses work directly with HCI in terms of our doctors, our researchers, so they are up to date and they are just one in a million kind of technology, and they are very put together and designed to get to the diversities of communities in this geographical area, specifically within the Intermountain West. Tom?
Yeah, absolutely. Those buses have been actually just hugely instrumental too, especially in the indigenous tribal regions we have out here in the rural Mountain West too. So it's been remarkable to allow those populations for a lot of them, get their first screenings ever. And then on top of that, to recognizing the commitment and the financial toll it takes just to travel to get treatments that everybody experiences all across the globe with cancer diagnoses, is the Huntsman Cancer Institute was the first one they did a pilot program they called it Huntsman at Home, to train and assist their local nurses in some of the more very small hospitals that kind of dot the Intermountain West area too. So instead of having to drive, sometimes we do have about 11 satellite campuses throughout the Intermountain West too, not just in Salt Lake City. But even beyond that too, to kind of allow people, instead of having to travel 2 to 3 hours multiple times a week to receive treatment, they're able to receive their treatments at their very local hospitals, and sometimes even at their home residences as well too. So those are both for men and women, but extremely huge blessings for those people in their lives too. And then another thing I would be remiss if I didn't mention is the Cancer Learning Center at Huntsman Cancer Institute. We have a physical kind of room at Huntsman Cancer Institute's main campus, but it is an online resource as well too. One of the worst things anybody can do, men and women, when they get a cancer diagnosis, is to immediately Google it, because cancers are so specialized and personalized too. Some of the information you will get might not be super relevant and also very scary. So they opened a Cancer Learning Center. This is one of John Huntsman's passion projects, to allow every patient and caregiver to be able to receive professional help on what information that is relevant to their specific case too. So therefore, there's no fear mongering. There's no, kind of crazy blogs that you're reading everywhere too. So that's available online as well too. So anybody at any point, anywhere, women can also get those as well too. So they're really trying their best to help as many people as possible.
Another thing too that I have learned as I started my role as a part of that learning center, they have full-time staff who speak a variety of different languages, so we can ensure that a patient and a family can have as clear communication with their doctor as possible. They also have full-time staff whose entire roles are helping people navigate health insurance. And for all the brothers watching who are about to graduate, as someone who is recently graduated and entering the workforce, health insurance is crazy. And having a resource to really understand that and be able to set it up to the best of the ability is just absolutely huge. So they do a lot to really, really make people feel comfortable and get people involved and incorporated into HCI. All right, guys. So we're going to go to our Q&A from our commented questions. So we appreciate you all for commenting, and I encourage y'all to keep commenting if you have questions, and we'll get to them one by one. Our first question is, can you tell us more about the recent highlights from the Huntsman Cancer Foundation and Sigma Chi's contributions? So I'll give that one over to you, Tom.
Sure. So I guess just maybe I need some clarification on the question, but I guess the biggest thing that Sigma Chi is currently doing is trying to fulfill their $20 million pledge for that women's center at the Catherine Hepburn Center. And most recently, we just finished up a $4 million a year, which is just a record-breaking year. It's a phenomenal kind of growth that we've seen in Sigma Chi too. So they are actively, Sigma Chi is very much on track. If not, they're going to be fulfilling that pledge many years in advance, which is just incredible too, because that way we finish that one up and then hopefully just immediately start going on towards the next, just to help as much as we can.
Fantastic. Our next question is from the Learning Consortium. I hope I am saying that right. When did Huntsman become the official philanthropy of the fraternity?
I'll take that one as well. So it became the preferred philanthropic partner back in 2005. Now, granted, it took a good almost decade for them to raise even just $1 million. So, it started off, it was slow going. But yeah, it was back in 2005. And then since then, we made a total of $31 million pledge at various times. The initial $11 million was for helping build the hospital, as well as the Research South building that we had there. And then, of course, we added on the $20 million after that. We finished that first pledge of $11 million in 2020, and we announced the $20 million pledge, the additional $20 million pledge at the Grand Chapter in Salt Lake City in 2019.
All right. William, any advice for other undergraduates in balancing all of their commitments and being involved in Sigma Chi?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I mean, a lot of people are hesitant to even rush just solely because of commitments and stuff. But I work in the fraternity. I also played a sport at one point for a little bit. And you have your personal lives as well. So my advice is honestly, you got to learn how to time manage. That is huge. Um, Sorry about that. Basically, time management is crucial. I learned that while working at the Academic Support Center when I did that at my school. And after I started just literally mapping out schedules, writing stuff down, doing things that like the person in 10 years would do, it's definitely helped me out.
Awesome. Very well said. Another from the Learning Consortium. What are some of the coolest Derby Day events you've ever seen? I'll let Tom have that one too, but I'll start it off with giving a shout out to the boys down at the University of Arkansas. I had the opportunity to go to their dance competition where they sold out their basketball arena and they had, I believe it was 14 teams, and the choreography and the dances that these teams put on, and they were teams of 30, so they were definitely not small teams, were absolutely incredible. And seeing, I think it was like 10,000 students rally at their Derby days was absolutely incredible. They broke $100,000 this year for the first time ever, so big shout out to them. That was a fantastic event.
Really, the coolest events I see are the ones that get the biggest campus involvement around there. And they focus in on the why. So it's been incredible. I've seen even some dance competitions where in between each group's going up there on the stage, they allow a member or two of each group going up there and sharing why they were participating in Derby Days that week, what really motivated them to raise the money. And I'm always kind of touched by those as well.
Absolutely. All right. And I think we'll keep rolling into our next question here. What is the role differential between HCF and HCI? That's actually a great question. So HCI is the Huntsman Cancer Institute. It is the hospital and the research center. HCF is Huntsman Cancer Foundation, and we are the nonprofit entity of HCI. So we are the nonprofit that takes in donations and then directly supports HCI. One of our claims to fame as a nonprofit, that is a great point for Sigma Chi chapters to use as they approach their donations, is that we are very, very graciously funded by the Huntsman family. They bankroll us, so 100% of donations that we take in, so 100% of donations made by chapters goes to cancer research and HCI. So that's something we are just eternally grateful for the Huntsman family for, and a cool fact about HCF as a nonprofit. All right, guys. So I appreciate you both for being here. So that's going to wrap up our show. So thank you all for tuning in and listening. I appreciate all of y'all's invaluable insights and inspirations for all of our listeners. Your shared experiences, challenges, and successes emphasize the enduring values of integrity, leadership, and resilience installed by Sigma Chi. This gathering serves as a testament to the enduring brotherhood and the powerful network that the fraternity fosters. Thank you for your time tonight, brothers. This brings us to the end of Beacons of Courage, Voices from the Huntsman Cancer Foundation. We hope you've been as inspired as I am by the incredible stories and insights shared by our knowledgeable brothers. If you've enjoyed this panel, please share the signature speaker events with your friends and fellow Sigma Chi brothers and anyone who values stories of leadership, ambition, and the enduring power of brotherhood. Remember, the bonds formed through Sigma Chi are not just for 4 years, but for a lifetime. They continue to shape the lives of our brothers in remarkable ways. We encourage you to visit the Sigma Chi Learning Consortium at any time to watch all of our previously recorded content and register for our upcoming live events. Once again, thank you all for joining and have a wonderful evening.